This isn't just a quarterback controversy. This is a franchise in free fall, and at the center of it, Jimmy Haslam, the Cleveland Browns owner who's being absolutely torched by fans, insiders, and NFL media alike after one of the most tone-deaf decisions in recent memory, refusing to play Shedeur Sanders. The same Shedeur Sanders who was hyped as the Browns' most electric quarterback prospect in years. The same Shedeur Sanders who brought national attention, fan excitement, and future of the franchise energy before he ever took a snap. And now, he's glued to the bench like a practice squad walk-on. And Jimmy Haslam? He's pretending everything's fine as if fans can't see exactly what's going on. Well, they see it, and they're furious.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
Because let's be clear, this isn't about protecting a young player. This isn't about development. This is about control, about ego, about an ownership group and coaching staff who would rather preserve their crumbling structure than admit they might have gotten it wrong, again. Haslam's refusal to even acknowledge the Shedeur situation is what sent this entire thing spiraling. And now it's not just whispers. It's full-blown rebellion. You've got fans openly calling for boycotts. Season ticket holders threatening to walk. Local reporters dragging the front office on air. And the wildest part? This didn't have to happen. All the Browns had to do was give Shedeur a real chance. Not as a gimmick. Not as a preseason novelty. As a legitimate part of the team's future. But instead they sidelined him. Silenced him. Treated him like a distraction, while the offense crumbled and mediocrity ruled the day. And let's not forget the worst part, this was supposed to be different. Remember the energy when Shedeur was drafted? The buzz? The merch sales? The hope? Cleveland finally had a player with national appeal, generational talent, and a last name that carried weight. But what did Jimmy Haslam and Kevin Stefanski do with that? They hid him. Like a kid hiding a broken toy from his parents, hoping no one notices. Well, everyone noticed. And now the karma is hitting hard. Because now, every time the Browns' offense sputters, every time the stadium deflates, every time a third-string QB takes the field instead of Shedeur, it's a reminder. A reminder of just how out of touch this front office has become. And no amount of PR spin can cover that up anymore. And here's the thing about karma. When it hits, it doesn't send a warning text first. It kicks down the door and drags all your bad decisions into the spotlight. Jimmy Haslam didn't just miscalculate. He made the cardinal sin of modern football ownership. He ignored the moment. He ignored the culture shift happening right under his nose. The rise of quarterbacks who are more than just play callers, they're brands, leaders, movements. He ignored the fact that everywhere Shedeur Sanders goes, he brings attention, energy, and yes, expectation. But instead of leaning into it, Haslam slammed the brakes. He hit pause on one of the most exciting talents in recent memory, and for what? To protect the system? To keep a coaching staff comfortable? To delay the inevitable? Whatever the reason, the cost is already steep and climbing. Let's talk locker room morale. Because it's not just the fans who are fed up. Word is players are frustrated. They see Shedeur working. They see his poise, his patience, his readiness. And more importantly, they see the offense floundering without him. These are professionals. They know what good quarterback play looks like. And when the guy getting all the reps is playing check-down chicken while the kid with the cannon is running scout team, yeah, resentment builds. And that tension? It doesn't stay behind closed doors for long. We're already seeing signs. Sideline body language. Post-game interviews with just enough shade. And now the leaks. Insider whispers. Unnamed players going to the media. And all of it points to one thing. The Browns are losing the room. All because Haslam and Stefanski won't budge. They won't evolve. And in a league that moves faster than a fourth-quarter no-huddle, refusing to adapt isn't just risky, it's franchise suicidal. And look, we've seen this before. Cleveland has a rich history of quarterback dysfunction. But this time feels worse. What? Because Shedeur Sanders wasn't some third-round flyer. He wasn't a charity pick. He was a statement. A signal that maybe, just maybe, the Browns were finally ready to think long-term. But instead of building around him, they benched him. Instead of empowering him, they ghosted him. And now, as other teams reportedly sniff around, Dallas, Atlanta, even San Francisco, it's clearer than ever. They might lose him. Think about that. The Browns could lose a future face of the league QB not because he failed, but because they refused to try. And that, more than anything, is what's igniting this fan revolt. Because fans aren't stupid. They know Shedeur is green. They know he's not a finished product. But they also know what not trying looks like, and this is it. This is exactly what it looks like when an ownership group is more concerned with protecting egos than building the future. And the irony? Haslam thinks he's avoiding risk. But this right here, is the biggest risk of all. Alienating fans. Dividing the locker room. Destroying a player's confidence. Losing a young star to a smarter franchise. All because you were too scared to shake things up. Let's talk about what could have been. Picture this, week 6. Browns are down by 10 in the fourth. The stadium's dead. Twitter's roasting the play calling. Stefanski sends Shedeur out. Rookie jitters? Sure. But the fans go wild. He moves the chains. He scrambles. He makes one jaw-dropping throw across his body on 3rd and long. The game? Maybe they still lose. But the spark? It's lit. That's what he brings. Not just hope, electricity. And Haslam said no to all of it. He chose silence over a spark. Caution over chaos. He chose to preserve a broken system rather than try something bold, something different, something necessary. And now the Browns are stuck in football purgatory again. Except this time there's no excuse. No scapegoat. No injury. No rebuilding year. Just a refusal to evolve. Meanwhile, Shedeur? He stays composed. He shows up. He works. He leads in practice. And in doing so he's quietly making the case, not just for playing time but for a better team. Because when this thing finally breaks, and it will break, he's going to have options. He's already got the talent. He's got the name. The media attention. The respect of fans nationwide. The only thing he doesn't have? A franchise that believes in him. And that's on Jimmy Haslam. So what happens now? Well, karma's already rolling. The stadium is half full. Jersey sales are flatlining. Media pressure is building. The Browns are no longer the scrappy underdogs with upside. They're a team known for wasting quarterbacks. And unless Haslam does something radical, fire Stefanski, elevate Shedeur, issue a public course correction, the damage will be permanent. Not just to the fanbase, to the brand. Because here's the truth Jimmy Haslam needs to hear. You don't get to silence a rising star and expect the spotlight to stay off. This is the NFL. This is entertainment. And Shedeur Sanders is the show. Refuse to play him? Fine. Just know the rest of the league is watching. So is prime time. So are the sponsors. So are the fans who were this close to buying season tickets, before they saw QB3 take the field for the 5th straight week while Sanders stayed in sweats. This isn't just incompetence anymore. It's sabotage. It's a failure of vision. It's fear disguised as strategy. And if Jimmy Haslam doesn't course correct soon, he'll go down not as the man who saved the Browns, but as the guy who let greatness walk out the door and didn't even try to stop it. Let me know in the comments. Should Shedeur demand a trade? Is there any way for the Browns to fix this mess? Or is it already too late? And if you're tired of watching this franchise shoot itself in the foot over and over again, hit that subscribe button. Because at this point, we're not just covering a football team. We're covering a full-blown meltdown in real time. They had the chance to be ahead of the curve. They had the talent. They had the media momentum. They had a quarterback with the name, the game, the poise, and the pedigree. Shedeur Sanders wasn't just some developmental flyer. He was a signal to the league that Cleveland could finally do something smart, something modern, something bold. But instead of leading the way, they defaulted to fear. Again. And this isn't new. The Browns are practically the blueprint for how to waste quarterback potential. How many times has this franchise been at this exact crossroads? How many times have they picked the safe guy? The system guy? The journeyman backup? The guy who won't ruffle feathers? Too many. And Shedeur Sanders? He's not the safe option. He's not going to sit quietly for 3 years and then fade into a backup role. He's a star. He knows it. His father knows it. The fans know it. The entire NFL knows it. Everyone, except the guys running the Browns. Which brings us back to the root of the problem. Jimmy Haslam doesn't know how to handle star power. He never has. He's more comfortable with average. With quiet. With manageable. But greatness? Real greatness? It makes him nervous. Because greatness demands change. It demands attention. It challenges old systems. And Haslam? He's addicted to comfort. He'd rather lose with a clipboard in control than win with a quarterback who dares to be bigger than the franchise. And that's exactly what Shedeur threatens to become. Bigger than the franchise. Let's pause and really sit with that for a second. If Shedeur were starting, the Browns wouldn't just be competing, they'd be relevant. They'd be getting primetime coverage. National interviews. Highlight reels. ESPN segments. They'd be the story of the season, win or lose. But what do they have now? Silence. Stagnation. Sad field goals and awkward post-game pressers. It's almost impressive, honestly, how this team keeps managing to fumble the bag at every level. And the locker room knows it. More and more players are starting to question what exactly the plan is. Is the team actually trying to build something? Or are they just holding on to their jobs week to week? Because here's the thing players care about more than anything else: competence. They can handle tough losses. They can handle adversity. But what they can't handle is feeling like the people upstairs have no idea what they're doing. And when you bury the most exciting talent on your roster and trot out mediocrity every Sunday, yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. Players notice. Veterans talk. Younger guys lose faith. The entire culture erodes from the inside out. And all the while, Shedeur just keeps his head down. Keeps working. Keeps waiting. But for how long? Because let's not kid ourselves, he has options. If this were any other player, you might expect them to grit it out. But Shedeur? He's not some late-round pick with no leverage. He's Shedeur Sanders. That last name matters. His platform matters. He has the ear of the media. He has his own spotlight, and if he chooses to turn it on Cleveland, it's game over. All it takes is one tweet, one interview, one press conference where he says, "I just want to play somewhere I'm valued." Boom. Every front office in the league starts calling. Fans start marching. Media explodes. And the Browns? Left scrambling, again trying to explain why they thought sitting a future star was the right move. Let's not forget the other teams in the mix. Because the second this situation spirals beyond repair, franchises like Dallas, Atlanta, even Denver are going to be lining up. Teams with shaky quarterback situations and aggressive ownerships that know how to make a splash. Jerry Jones? You think he wouldn't leap at the chance to turn Shedeur into a cowboy and sell 2 million jerseys before week 1? Please. That man would build a statue of primetime outside AT&T Stadium if it meant getting Shedeur in blue and silver. And this is the part that should really terrify Browns fans. He'd thrive. You give Shedeur a competent offense, a supportive front office, and a fanbase that actually wants him to play, he'll ball out. Maybe not perfect, maybe not right away, but he'll make noise. He'll make plays. He'll make a case. And every time he does, Cleveland will have to live with it. Every touchdown he throws in another uniform will be a reminder of what could have been, what should have been, what they chose to ignore. And Jimmy Haslam? He'll be watching from his box seat, wondering why the fans stopped showing up. Wondering why the team can't attract top talent. Wondering why the media keeps mocking the Browns instead of praising them. So because you had the guy, and you refused to play him. That's not a football mistake. That's a leadership failure. And those don't go away overnight. So where does this leave us? With a fan base on edge. With a locker room in limbo. With a young quarterback holding all the cards, and an owner who doesn't even realize he's already lost the hand. If Jimmy Haslam had any sense, he'd change course right now. He'd call a meeting, tell the coaching staff to drop the ego, and give Shedeur the start he earned. Not because it's a PR move. Not because the fans are angry. But because it's the right football decision. Because if he doesn't, if he lets this thing rot until it explodes, he won't just lose a quarterback. He'll lose the locker room. He'll lose the fans. And he'll go down as the man who had a generational talent in his building, and chose irrelevance instead. Don't forget, karma doesn't just come for bad teams. It comes for stubborn owners. So Jimmy? Clock's ticking. And Shedeur? He's still waiting. Let's keep going, because if you thought the situation in Cleveland had already hit rock bottom, think again. This isn't just about poor decisions anymore. We're watching a live case study in how to dismantle your franchise credibility in real time. And here's where it gets extra poetic. Every day Shedeur Sanders stays benched, his legend grows. Seriously. There's something ironic, almost cinematic, about watching the Browns sabotage themselves while their potential savior stands just a few feet away on the sideline, helmet in hand, ready but unwanted. It's like watching a burning building with a full water hose sitting next to it, and no one wants to pick it up. Let's be clear, the Browns aren't just wasting talent. They're insulting it. They're sending a message, loud and clear, to every young, dynamic, media-savvy, modern player in the league. If you come here, we'll bury you if you don't fit our comfort zone. And in today's NFL? That's a death sentence for recruitment. Who's going to want to sign with Cleveland next year, knowing that a player with Shedeur's upside couldn't even get a look? Not because he wasn't ready, but because the front office was too prideful to pivot. Let's talk ripple effects. Because this doesn't just impact Sanders. It impacts every player, every draft pick, Every potential free agent who's watching this dumpster fire unfold and thinking, wait, if they did this to him, what would they do to me? And that's the kind of narrative that lives longer than any losing season. That's a cultural stain. It sticks to a franchise. It changes how agents talk about you behind closed doors. It changes how reporters frame their questions. It changes the tone of everything. But here's the tragic comedy. Jimmy Haslam still thinks he's playing it safe. He doesn't see the iceberg, just the calm water in front of the boat. He's looking at depth charts, schemes, talking points. Meanwhile, fans are watching disrespect unfold in real time. Every week Sanders doesn't play is another week of Cleveland telling its fan base, we don't care what you want. We know better. Sit down and keep buying tickets. But this generation of fans? They don't sit down quietly. They mobilize. They post. They cancel season tickets. They chant at games. They make signs. They flip the narrative on its head. And if the Browns think they can coast through this without a reckoning, they haven't been paying attention. Because the karma in this league comes swift, and Shedeur is its vessel. You think other teams aren't already making calls? You think there aren't GMs out there just waiting for the Browns to blink? To slip up? To say the wrong thing in a press conference? All it's going to take is one more PR gaffe, one more passive-aggressive comment from Stefanski about scheme fit, and boom. Trade rumors become negotiations. And honestly, can you blame Sanders if he wants out? He's done everything right. He hasn't lashed out. He hasn't gone to the media. He's played the company man. And they still treat him like a distraction. At some point, loyalty stops being noble and starts being self-sabotage. And when that breaking point comes, when Shedeur finally says enough is enough, you're going to see a wave of support so loud, so widespread, that Cleveland's entire media operation won't be able to drown it out. Imagine the headlines. Sanders wants out, Browns refuse to let him play or trade. NFL execs slam Browns for mishandling star prospect. Shedeur Sanders, a franchise lost before he ever took the field. It's not just likely. It's inevitable. Because stars don't sit forever. They shine. And if you block that light too long, it burns your house down instead. And you know who's loving all of this? Jerry Jones. You know he's circling like a shark. He's watching every Browns press conference with popcorn. Because to him this isn't a disaster, it's a business opportunity. Shedeur in Dallas? That's primetime gold. That's a marketing machine. That's a perfect marriage of spectacle and talent. And Jerry knows it. He's waiting. Quietly. Patiently. Because the longer Cleveland fumbles this, the cheaper Shedeur becomes on the trade market. Every week he doesn't play, his value drops in the eyes of conservative teams, while his true value only rises in the eyes of owners who understand branding, media, and modern football dynamics. And if Shedeur lands somewhere like Dallas, watch how fast the league changes its tune. Suddenly the same analysts who questioned his attitude will be praising his leadership. The same coaches who called him a developmental piece will be talking about how he always had the tools. That's how the NFL works. Narratives move with the wind, and right now the wind is shifting hard against Cleveland. So what happens next? One of two things. Option 1, Jimmy Haslam wakes up. He makes the call. He tells Stefanski to stop the nonsense and play the kid. He holds a press conference, says, we've reevaluated. Shedeur's earned his shot. He gets ahead of the chaos. Option 2, he digs in. Doubles down. Lets ego win. Keeps pushing the company line while Shedeur rots on the sideline, and the fans keep getting louder, and the players keep getting colder, and eventually, the bridge burns. The trade happens. And the Browns are left holding a pile of what could have been. Right now we're headed straight for option 2. And if that's the route they choose, it won't just be a missed opportunity. It'll be a franchise-defining failure. A moment people look back on in documentaries. A 30 for 30 waiting to be written. What if the Browns had just played Shedeur Sanders? What if? Too late. Unless they act now. Because Shedeur? He's not going to wait forever. And karma? It's already in motion. Because for years, Cleveland has been clowned by the national media. Mocked for the factory of sadness. Dragged through the mud with quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. And just when it felt like maybe, just maybe, they had a new chapter waiting in the wings, the front office slammed the door shut. Again. This isn't just football anymore. It's pride. It's the guy you swore would be different, and instead you're watching the same movie for the 50th time just with better cinematography. Cleveland doesn't need perfection. It needs hope. It needs someone to believe in. And Shedeur Sanders? He was tailor-made for that role. A kid with a chip on his shoulder, a Hall of Fame mentor in his corner, and a poise beyond his years. He could have been the heartbeat of a new era. A face for a city still aching to matter in this league. And what did they do? They iced him. Treated him like a third-string curiosity instead of a potential franchise QB. They took the one storyline that could have united the locker room, lit up the fan base and silenced the doubters, and they buried it under a mountain of ego and caution. But here's the twist. The more they push Shedeur down, the more everyone else lifts him up. Look at social media. Look at the sports shows. Look at the fans in other cities already dreaming of him in their colors. Dallas fans? Hyped. Atlanta? Frothing at the mouth. Even teams like the Raiders or the Commanders are being floated as fits, because they understand what Cleveland clearly doesn't. You don't hide lightning in a bottle. You let it strike. And if you don't, someone else will. And here's the ultimate irony that will haunt the Haslam-era Browns for decades if they blow this. Even if Shedeur never plays a down in Cleveland, he's already the most talked-about quarterback they've had since Baker Mayfield's rookie year. And that was before he even touched the field. He brought the buzz. He brought the attention. He brought the possibility. And they chose silence. So now it's only a matter of time. Either they course correct and let him cook, or they become the cautionary tale every franchise gets told at the draft. Don't be the Browns. Don't waste your Shedeur. Because karma? It doesn't miss. And if Shedeur ends up thriving somewhere else, lighting up scoreboards, leading game-winning drives, smiling in post-game pressers, just remember, it could have been Cleveland. But Cleveland blinked.